fans. Welcome back to Sam and Becca Mizell YouTube channel. Today's tips and tricks are on hooks. We're going to explore what are they, why we use them, where do they go, the types, and so on. So anyway, let's get right down to business. Hooks, what are they? Well, the short, simple answer is the thing that brings you back. It's that part of the song or that part of the lyric or that part of the thing that moves you back to the remembrance, which is kind of why you use them. We'll get into that more. It's the part of the song that catches you. I've heard it called the jelly and peanut butter in the sandwich. You got your bread, and the jelly and peanut butter is the thing that just brings you back because it's so good. So why use them? Well, as I said before, they can help in remembrance. They can add pizzazz depending on the hook. They can add rhythm and refrain. And we'll get into that. We'll show you some examples. And they can set a mood and a feeling. Also, third thing we're going to tackle here is where do they go? Well, the long and short answer is anywhere. As you start to write songs and get deeper into the process, you will realize that there is room anywhere and everywhere to put a hook. You don't need it to be one line. It could be, man, there are songs that have so many hooks in them. And I think that is part of the getting into being a more experienced writer is learning how and what type of hooks and where you can put them and how many you can put them. And so let's look at some types of hooks. Some of these may seem kind of obvious, but we want to explore. First, we got lyric hooks. That's pretty easy, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, where the hook comes back. The lyric comes back to a certain place. Melodic hooks, got rhyme hooks, certain things that rhyme a certain way. Rhythm patterns. You could have a phrase hook. You can have production and track hooks in the music. Really, the sky is the limit. Anywhere and everywhere you want to put a hook, that is the way to gain a listener. So let's talk about some examples here. Okay, so Shania Twain's Feels Like a Woman. Ba, 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 da, ba, da, ba. That's obviously a melodic hook. Let's Go Girls, that's even a hook because every time that comes on, every person that listens to that song is saying Let's Go Girls. And she always comes back to the Feels Like a Woman. Phil Collins, Coming in the Air Tonight. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. That's a hook even into itself, but I would say the drum thing, the ba-da, 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 ba-ba, I can feel it. That is a hook. Everybody does the air drums when that comes on. That's the jelly. That's the peanut butter of that. That's one of the jellies and peanut butters of that song. Toto's Africa. Lots of hooks in there. It's gonna take a lot to take me away from you. That's a hook. Bum ba dum bum ba dum bum bum. All those are hooks. So you get my point. It's the thing that brings you back, thing that catches you. It can help in remembrance. It can add pizzazz, rhythm and refrain. It can set the mood or a feeling. Yeah, so let's kind of dive in here. So in the last session, we were talking about a farm, and we had some examples of the farm, the tractor, and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to kind of keep with that theme. It's kind of corny, but no pun intended. But anyway, take the title, The Farm, okay? And we want to do something, this was our title, but we wanted to do something that would make it into a hook. So how do I make the farm memorable? Well, here's the way. We can add E-O. That'll make it a little more interesting. That can add a phraseology, as we talked about before. It can also add a musical thing. So anyway, let's explore. The cow was on the farm. I can't spell E-O. The cow ate the grass. E-O. The grass was in the field. E-O. Oh, I can't spell. field, E-O. And you know what? Let's add a different hook. Don't you know? Don't you know? Okay, so we got a number of different hooks here. EO being on the end of something is kind of, I mean, it's corny, obviously, but it adds a little bit of a pizzazz. It adds something that'll give it some remembrance. So the cow was on the farm, hee-o. The cow ate the grass, hee-o. The grass was in the field, hee-o. Don't you know, don't you know, don't you know, don't you know, oh, don't you know, don't you know, don't you know, don't you know, the cow was in the farm, ee-oh, da-dun-da-dun. The cow was in the grass, ee-oh, da-dun-da-dun. Okay, so you get my point. Taking something like this will add a hook. Adding something like this, or adding here's another phrase, the don't you know, don't you know, da 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 da, don't you know, da 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 da. Okay, and I'm adding another musical hook in there as well. So the hook is the thing that brings you back. Let's try a different one. Let's do something a little less obvious. Tractors are great. Factors are nice. I don't even know what it rhymes with tractors or factors. Let's just say that stackers was a word. Stackers are cool, and that is the rule. Okay, so here we got some hooks by not necessarily a refrain or anything, but it's actually the hook is in the way that you phrase it. Tractors are great. Factors are great. Stackers are cool. Okay, I butchered that. But anyway, and stackers is not even a word. But you understand what I'm talking about here. This is something it's not at the end. It's actually in with it's a rhyming hook. And people will gravitate onto a rhyme that you're going to say, especially if you set it up as a pattern. And here I even did a hook on these last two here. So I didn't use you know what? Actors. I'm stupid. Actors are cool. Da-da-da-da. And that is the rule. The rule. Okay. So here we have tractors are great. Factors are nice. Actors are cool. Now we want to hook in with this cool thing and go for, and that is the rule, the rule, the rule. So we actually rhymed this line and this thing to try to get you to hook on to this thing. Is a little more subtle. It wasn't quite out in the open. And I know this stuff is pretty corny, but I'm just trying to give you examples. So let's do a melodic hook. I love my farm more than my arm. Sound the alarm. I love my farm. So people are going to gravitate to the melodic hook of farm. Now, obviously, I tried to use the hook of rhyming farm, arm, alarm, and came back to farm. So this is kind of another device, if you will. I call it bookending. So you've got which we'll get into probably in a later session. But anyway, I'm calling it a hook for now. A bookended hook. So I love my farm more than my arm, sound the alarm, and then we come back to it. I love my farm. So you remember what the main thing, if somebody said, what's the main thing of this verse here, it would be how much you loved your farm. Okay, so this is tip number 2, hooks. I hope I was able to help you see some ways you could do that, putting it at the end, making it a little bit different, doing refrains, adding some melodic things, how we can do inner rhymes, tractors, factors, actors, doing some melodic things. I think I said that already, but anyway, that is how you start using hooks. So there you go. So that's tip number 2, hooks. I hope that this helps in your journey as a songwriter. If you watch the video, please subscribe, because I'm going to be doing some more in this series, and give me any comments you got, anything you want me to cover more of. There you go. Blessings.